Donald Trump's criminal trial has begun. The start marked an extraordinary moment in American history, as it's the first criminal trial of any former U.S. commander-in-chief. Former President Donald Trump defiant today.
This is an assault on America. Nothing like this has ever happened before.
He stands accused of falsifying internal Trump Organization records as part of a scheme to bury stories that he feared could hurt his 2016 presidential campaign, particularly as his reputation was suffering at the time from comments he made about women.
Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
Today, the judge confirmed that the prosecution will not be allowed to play that infamous Access Hollywood tape during the trial. The allegations against Trump in this case focus on payoffs to two women, including adult film star Stormy Daniels.
When I met Trump, he had told me he never wanted to be president, but then Trump got the Republican nomination, and that's when it got real. All I had to do was sign this piece of paper to keep it quiet.
And then there was the Playboy model Karen McDougal, who said she had extramarital sexual encounters with Trump years earlier.
After we had been intimate, he tried to pay me, and I actually didn't know how to take that.
Did he actually try to hand you money?
He did.
Payments to a Trump Tower doorman who claimed to have a story about a child he alleged Trump had out of wedlock were also made.
Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about.
Trump says none of these supposed sexual encounters occurred.
This is political persecution. This is a persecution like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And again, it's a case that should have never been brought.
The federal government and Biden, the Department of Justice, had absolutely nothing to do with the charging decision at the state or the grand jury indictment, which was solely citizens of the state of New York.
Harvard professor Ron Sullivan telling Trending Now that the jury selection will be long. Today, scores of people were called into the courtroom, bypassing protesters outside to begin the process of finding 12 plus 6 alternates. Trump's notoriety making it a grueling task.
The court is going to have to deal with qualifying a jury that can be fair and impartial, and that simply is going to take a lot of time to do.
Jurors answered a 42-question survey in front of Trump today. Both prosecutors and the defense want to know where jurors get their news, if they ever worked for the Trump Organization, and they were asked if they support or are members of groups like the Proud Boys. At the end of the trial, the chosen jury must be unanimous on their final decision.
All they need is one, and his defense attorneys, I'm sure, are looking for right now during the jury selection for that one juror who will vote in their favor.
The trial is expected to include testimony from witnesses, including Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer and fixer, who paid Daniels $130,000 for Trump. Cohen has separately pleaded guilty and served prison time. Joining us now is Lanny Davis, the legal advisor to the case's star witness, Michael Cohen. Lanny, there's high anticipation for the testimony of Michael Cohen. Why is his testimony quite possibly the most crucial piece in this trial?
Well, it is crucial, but he's backed up by documents, by emails, by text messages, and by other witnesses. So your Canadian audience should know that all the attacks on Michael Cohen's credibility, because he did plead guilty to lying to Congress, he has substantiation. Secondly, what he is testifying to has already been established by federal prosecutors as to the facts. Fact one, that federal prosecutors working for Donald Trump found that Donald Trump directed Michael Cohen to pay this money to an adult film star just before the election, which gives it, according to a jury that might find, beyond a reasonable doubt, a political motive. If there was a political motive to paying this money, that makes it a crime at the federal level. In New York State, it makes it a crime if he falsely booked the money that he repaid to Michael Cohen while president of the United States. He wrote out personal checks to Michael Cohen, $35,000 a month for 12 months to repay Michael Cohen for what the federal prosecutors said, meaning at the United States government level were illegal payments to influence an election, to withhold information about a presidential candidate that might influence votes. That's what makes it illegal. Cohen's testimony is important. Sorry to go on so long, but he's surrounded by corroboration, and the federal prosecutors found that this direction came from Donald Trump when he was a private citizen. If Michael Cohen went to prison for that act, the person that directed him to do it, by definition, should be guilty of the same act.
And I wanted to talk a bit about Trump next. We all know, even here in Canada, that he is quick to jump on Truth Social and put his own version of events out there for the world to see. Do you think Trump will testify?
Well, I never believe him when he says he'll do something, because he usually doesn't. But he did say, I would take the stand. He uses subjunctive verbs like would rather than will. Only Donald Trump would think there's a difference. So I doubt he will be allowed to, because it would be so damaging if he took the stand. The truth is never Donald Trump's friend. And having said that, let me remind my friends in Canada, and I'm a Canadian fowl because my first love was from Montreal, Quebec, just so you know, when I was a teenager, that in America, no matter what the accusations are, an individual is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by a unanimous jury. So this is what is in favor of Mr. Trump. And if he gets convicted, it's only because the rule of law in America, which he doesn't think matters, I think matters. We'll see what a jury decides.
Just before this interview, we had a chance to chat, and you've said it's been a long 5 years. How is Michael Cohen feeling tonight?
His first call, where he made his decision to do this 5 years ago, late one night, is when I asked him, are you ready for the challenge that this is going to create in your life? And he said to me, I want to tell the truth for myself, for my family, and for my country. That's why all that he's been through, including going to jail, including being targeted, and his family is at risk, is about him hitting the reset button on his life, expressing contrition. When he testified publicly, he said, I'm ashamed. I don't ask forgiveness. I just ask to be heard. That's why I think the jury is likely to believe him. But it's been a very difficult ordeal for him. And I have stayed as his lawyer and his friend, because I know his family has suffered, and being targeted by Donald Trump is a very scary thing.
It's certainly an honorable move by Cohen. Lanny, thank you so much for joining us on Trending Now. We hope to connect again after your client has finished his testimony.
Do you think maybe my old girlfriend from many, many years ago is watching? If she is, I'll say hello.
Oh, we'll make sure she sees this out in Montreal. Thank you again, Lanny.
Thank you. Bye-bye.